we're here, finally. It's definitely been a long year, not the year I anticipated. The last time I was here, I was leaving on a pretty high note. Definitely one of the better races that I've put together, and it's a bit hard not to get back here and feel a little bit of pressure to perform at the same capacity as I ended the year last year. I'm really trying to ignore that part of me and just go out there and have fun. I'm 2 months post-surgery, or a little less than 2 months post-surgery, right after the Collins Cup. Obviously, didn't have a good performance there. I knew it was going to be pretty tough going in. I thought I would be able to hold a little better, but the last couple of weeks of training, I had a pretty decent setback and just shut things down, hoping that it would solve itself before I got to the start line, but that just wasn't the case. So got home, had to have surgery on my knee. It was a quick, easy surgery, and I honestly felt better leaving surgery than I did, from the day one when I hurt it in May. It just, it never hurt afterwards, but it just, obviously surgery is traumatic and there's a lot of swelling and recovery, and you have to respect that. Coming out of surgery, I really thought that, no problem. Daytona is not going to be an issue. I'll be 100% ready to go. And then reality slowly started to set in as I was trying to do more and more, and my knee was saying no and no. But, Coach Julie, Coach Matt, Coach Kevin, Rin, the PT that I've been working with, all put together a really good plan. And we honestly had discussions about pulling the pin on Daytona and just trying to do a very slow build up into an early season race, whether it would go to the Middle East or if one of the South America races happen. But I really wanted to get on the schedule that I've done so many times for an early season Ironman. It's always been Ironman Texas in the past. We're at late April, early May. And that's always been racing at the end of December, or at beginning of December, taking a little bit of a break, and then doing a very slow aerobic build first, then kind of the normal build into those races. And that's what I didn't want to be racing in January, February, and then try to carry that fitness into May, and then have to race hopefully another World Championships in October. And so I wanted to get them on the more traditional off-season, end of December, build into the May race, the World Championships this year, take a little bit of downtime, and then build into an October Kona. And the only way to do that was to use this weekend, use Daytona as a target to race. And so that was what I wanted to do. And so I made the deal with Matt and Julie that if I could get through, I had some benchmarks along the way that I felt like I needed to do. Wasn't willing to do anything stupid or crazy or chase it or force it. But if I could do these little benchmarks along the way, then I would come and race. And if not, I would shut it down at after this weekend anyways, if I had any setbacks. So basically, I didn't feel like I had time for a single setback. So I wanted to just build up and hope to race. And if I couldn't, I was okay with that. I was still going to shut it down for a little bit after this weekend, just to get on the schedule that I want to be on for the build into the St. George World Championships in May. Thankfully, I got through the build without any major setbacks or any with the knee anyways. Really the biggest issue that I had was managing the low back issue that I've had throughout my entire career. I was essentially running with a limp all summer, and so I was obviously aggravating things further up the chain. And so that was what we dealt with mostly in PT. My knee would swell up a little bit every now and then, but it would always go away, especially as I added things on. I was obviously doing a lot of the early running on the lever, and then slowly increasing body weight, doing, partial runs with restricted body weight, and then partial at full, and then yeah, so now I've had plenty of runs at full body weight to feel that I can get to the finish line safe and sound. I think my back's in a good place right now to hold to go race the course where aero is the most important than any other course in the circuit. So yeah, I'm excited to go and leave it all out there. What I have now, anyways, the fitness numbers in Training Peaks aren't near what they were last year at this time, but that's okay. I'm just excited to go out and see what the day brings. Obviously, this isn't the championship race like it was last year, but there's still a pretty good field here. I think you'd be foolish to not consider Christian a favorite after what he's done this year. Obviously, he's had some pretty stellar results. So, he'll absolutely be in the mix. Then there's other guys like Rudy and Ben who are just always solid, and I'm sure they're going to be in a good place. Then you've got other people who you might not factor in quite as much. Magnus and Andrew, what they do on the bike, if they have anybody that goes with them. And then Tom Davis actually was in the lead of this race. He's a guy that not a lot of people know, but this is a really good course for him. He's super aero as well and swims pretty well, so he'll be with that lead group. And then I expect him to maybe try to go with Andrew and Magnus on the bike. And so I mean anything can happen. It's also late season racing, early December here. You've got people who are building up, and then you've got a couple other guys who are struggled with injuries during the bulk of the season, so trying to get one more good race, hope to move up the PTO end of season rankings. And then you've got guys who are just hanging on and just trying to squeeze one more race out of the legs out of a good build. And so everybody's in a little bit of a different spot, and so that'll just it makes it such a wild card. Last year coming into this race, no one really knew what to expect. Now I think we know what to expect, and who knows, maybe we'll be proven wrong. It's obviously there's a lot of unknowns for me right now, especially. I'm not exactly sure what condition my run is going to be in. I know I'm healthy enough to run hard for the 11 miles that I need to. I don't have a clue what speed I'm going to be able to hold. Obviously, I do most of my running at about 6,500 feet. So coming back down to sea level, that'll change things a little bit. I haven't raced in a long time. I was swimming really well at the beginning of the season. I was running really well. Bike wasn't where I wanted it to be in those early season races. And so hopefully I can just go out this weekend and put all three together. And, I'm really going in with, I say this anyways, I'm trying to keep the expectations really low and just go out and put together a solid performance from start to finish and just let the results sort themselves out. Obviously, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think there was a chance that I could have a good result. I definitely think that's in the cards. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not gonna say woe is me and call it all for lost. This is all part of the process. Again, I keep kicking this can down the road, but I really think that I'm on a progression where I can win a long course or an Ironman World Championships. And racing here this weekend, I feel helps me do that, because it allows me to get another race and come back and get a race after this injury. I really only want to race one time next year before St. George. I'll probably do Galveston. And so just kind of getting another race and making this one the rust kicker rather than Galveston. So I think from that progression, it helps. From the rest recovery and the season progression, I think that it helps. And so that's why I came. But I definitely think that a good result is in the cards. That's all I got for you for the pre-race interview anyways. I appreciate you following along now that I'm healthy and back into a good groove. As soon as I take a little bit of a break after the season, we'll be hopefully pushing out the more day in the life videos a little bit more frequently. So make sure you hit subscribe and the like button on the way out. Share it with your friends. Help me out a little bit there. And otherwise, we'll see you after the race.